Jason Ellis revealed on an Instagram Live that Theo Vaughn is going to expose Colin Thompson of Kast Media for owing him and Brendan Schaub millions. So I'm going to play this and give you my thoughts on it. And Jason Ellis is going to reveal that why Theo Vaughn is not with Schaub anymore. And Theo Vaughn probably doesn't like Schaub after what Schaub did in this situation. But let's see what Jason Ellis had to say about it.
Smaller than some of these other guys, but we're talking Theo Vaughn and Brendan Schaubs and people like that. Those guys referred me to, when I got let go from Sirius, to start podcasting with a company called Kast Media. And this guy that owns it named Colin Thompson. And those guys did a terrible job with the Jason Ellis Show and with Hawk vs. Wolf, to the point where we tried to get out of the deal, and we had a one-year deal with Hawk vs. Wolf, and then when I said there was a meeting to negotiate a second year, and I was like, when is this meeting going to happen? And they were like, yeah, we'll get right on that. And then the next week I was like, when's this meeting going to happen? They were like, oh man, you missed the deadline. So you have automatically re-signed for Hawk vs. Wolf for a second year. And I was like, that seems mean. You know, like, that seems a bit pushy. But okay, I don't really care. I don't know about podcasting. Maybe that's what they do. Mind you, I think I spoke to Colin one time in my entire life. He was definitely didn't have time for me. I think it was more about having Tony Hawk on. And he was keeping the Jason Ellis Show to keep Tony. So we went through a lot to get out of that. At one point, he threw slander and some other stuff at Tony. And I was like, if it's at me, I might actually believe you because I'm guilty most of the time. But at Tony, I was like, I know for sure he does what he says he's going to do. He always does. You can count on him. So, we're begging to get out of it. And then they don't even know who they are. They don't even know that it wasn't a 2-year deal. It was a certain amount of episodes a year. And because we were working so hard, we had already done the 2-year deal. And when they realized that, instead of letting us go, they said, you're fired. And you're terrible. And, you know, Tony Hawk is impossible to work with. Just stuff where it was like, you're insane. So I just took it as, I'd rather be out than deal with it. And then, you know, I don't face the money thing much. It's been pretty depressing since Sirius left. Every time I ask a question about money, it's bad news. So I kind of left that alone. And then I found out recently that Kast had decided to not pay us the money that they owe us from working, from the reads that we'd already done prior to being out there. And I was pretty angry about that because it's about enough money to pay off the debt that I'm in from not making any money from podcasting. And I was like, And then another guy that works for Colin, his name is Shane, I believe, and he told me that he was no longer friends with Colin, and then he called me 3 months later to say that Colin has gone bankrupt, Kast has gone bankrupt, and he's starting a new company, which I didn't know you could do. And he would like to have myself and Tony back on his new company. And he offered me the money that he owes me from the other shows to leave Melka and come over there. And I said, if I don't go over there, will you give me my money that you owe me? And they said no. So they stole my money, and they insulted me by offering my shitty job back, even though, like, Melka, our show looks great now. So they were doing a shit job, so I've never been happy with that. We don't make any money. But I'm sure that'll turn around. But then I get a call from Brendan Schaub. Then I get a call from Theo Vaughn. And apparently this Colin guy has been taking everybody's money and ran with it and declared bankruptcy and is now starting a new company and trying to hire a bunch of us to go back. So if you see Colin Thompson named on any podcast, just know that that's who you're dealing with. And if you're a podcaster and those guys are reaching out to you, just know that I don't think I've met a bigger piece of shit. And I worked for Sirius. Sirius paid me what they said they would pay me. So look for Theo Von's new podcast. He's going to talk about it. I'm sure he's going to talk about it in depth. Obviously, I'm a small fry in this game, and me talking smack doesn't really make that much of a difference. But I think, Colin needs this to go out there. I think when you steal millions of dollars off people that are fathers and that are, trying to make ends meet, and you take us for a ride, you abuse us, you talk to the god of skateboarding like, you're a piece of shit, dude. Like, obviously, violence is not the answer, but it's coming, man. In this life or the next, you're going to see something like me. So everybody out there, make sure you avoid that. If you're in podcasting, if there's a podcast where you find out, I don't want to say the company that he's moved to because I don't know it right, but it's like Kast Media or something. He's pulled some kind of scam where he's in charge, but obviously it's not under his name, but just to know that he's out there trying to get more of us to take more of our money. Apparently he lost all the money that he took from all of us. So we built him. And I've never met him. Very rude. He had no time from the get-go to talk to me, even though they asked me to come to Kast. As soon as I signed the deal, they could not care about me whatsoever. Never spoke to me again. One of the biggest regrets I've had so far in podcasting. So there you go. Colin Thompson, you are a insignificant shit bitch. And if you got beef, dude, you can come over here anytime you want. Bring all your friends. Get as much diesel as you can, because you're going to need it, son. All right, everybody. I think I'm probably really cool with that one. But yeah, that guy just says, Shane, too, you're a two-faced piece of shit. I don't know if you listen to this, but you told me you didn't speak to Colin ever again and wanted to befriend me, and then 3 months later you call on behalf of that dude, waving the money that is already mine in my face. So you're a piece of shit, too. So check out everybody else's shows that are way bigger that got ripped off by him to hear more, but there you go. I don't really like sharing negativity, but I mean, I'm broke. I'm moving into another house. I cannot afford to live here. Yeah, my life is...
Okay, first of all, go support Jason Ellis. He's going broke, getting his money ripped off from Colin Thompson and everything. Incredible. But now to discuss what he was talking about. So, we know from Jim Cornette that this guy ripped off everybody. He ripped off $1.4 million from Brendan Schaub. I'm going to assume from Schaub and Theo Von, because King of the Sting was owned by Kast Media. So what this guy did, and as Ellis explained, he said, I can't pay anybody what I owe you, but we got a new company, and I'll pay you your money if you come over here. Now, what Jim Cornette explained was it wasn't really money. He was going to pay half of what he owed you, and then the rest in stock for that new company. Stock worth nothing. And so Jason revealed that Theo Von is going to talk about this on his podcast and go in depth and explain how he was ripped off. You know who's not going to be talking about this? Brendan Schaub. Because Brendan Schaub took the deal. The deal Jason Ellis rejected. The deal Jim Cornette rejected. Brendan Schaub said yes to that. He took that deal. He's on Podcast One now. They're doing the show. He's willing to take the how many $100,000, less than half of what he was owed, and the rest in stock. So Brendan Schaub took the deal, which leads me to believe why Theo Von got away from Brendan Schaub. Because obviously, this has been happening over the course of a year. Theo Von, when he left, this was probably a huge factor. Like, I'm doing a podcast with Brendan Schaub. We're not making any money from it because these dudes are ripping us off. Let me get out of here. Then he does his own thing. And now he's going to go in depth and expose Colin Thompson for stealing the money. And Schaub takes the deal. Of course Schaub took the deal, by the way. But I'll just take the deal and you could just rip me off because I'm stupid, Brendan Schaub. And, wow. So this whole situation has just been fascinating to me. How many podcasts this goes from. We first hear about it from Cornette. Then we hear behind the scenes from Mark Harley that Brendan Schaub was complaining about this for $1.4 million. Now Jason Ellis comes forward and says they did it to him and reveals Theo Von's going to do a podcast talking about it and going in depth. Incredible. Well, I can't wait to hear that podcast, but let me know your thoughts in the comments.